It is episode 19 of the Black Art Podcast with me, Lloyd.
Me, Jake.
Hell yeah, man. How you doing, dude?
Not too shabby. Not too shabby. I've had a lovely morning. Pretty stress-free. Just being creative.
What have you been doing? Well, first of all, it's a Sunday as opposed to a Wednesday or Tuesday. What have you been doing all morning, man?
Scooting around, going charity shopping, looking for treasures.
Buried treasures.
Yeah.
Actually,
go on.
No, I was going to say, you would just tell me about some of them.
Yeah, one of my favorite things is when you go into a charity shop and you can tell, like, some old magician has died nearby.
Yeah.
Find treasure trove.
Could you show everyone, if you're okay to, that thing in glass that you just showed me that you found like before?
Yeah.
I just think it's the coolest thing, and there's this little story behind it as well.
This wasn't in a charity shop. This was actually in a field. There's like a football field next to a park by mine called Greenbank. And I found this strange ceramic rabbit in a globe alongside a painting of the Liverpool docks. And I was like, yeah, I'm having those.
So good. For
So
everyone on the
cool.
streaming services, it's literally like a little white rabbit on its hind legs. And it's got a like the shape of the dome of glass you'd see in like Beauty and the Beast, you know, but over the top of it, and it's all white.
Actually, because I am a huge emo boy, I also do have the the rose from Beauty and the Beast on my shelf over there.
So do I.
Yeah, and it's got
So
little
do I.
fairy lights inside.
Oh wow! I got one for Kaylee when we went to Disneyland.
Nice.
Made out of glass.
When I found this, the first night I found this, I put it on my bookshelf. I was made up. I was like, it's a white rabbit. It's magic. It's meant to be. I woke up in the middle of the night, about 3:30, because I heard a smashing noise. And I was like, well, this is it. The day I've always feared has come. I'm getting home invaded, strangers style, and some guys in masks because they're going to make me play games with them. I ran out into the hallway, and this was on the floor, and it had a huge crack in it. It just jumped off the shelf. Up.
I prefer it with the crack, I think. Not that I ever knew it without one, but it's something about that crack.
In my younger years, I preferred the crack too. But
the crack pipes.
It's just a nice haunted object, cursed object, and they're always better when it actually happened as well.
I wonder if there's what could you how could you use that? The reason why I like try to incorporate stuff like that, into magic, is because it's true. So you don't have to act, because people can smell acted a mile away, you know.
Especially when you're a bad actor like me.
Snapsies, man, snapsies. Well, for me on a Sunday, I'm heading off to, but actually the moment people are listening to this, I will be about 4 hours away by air from Florida. I'll be the halfway point over the Atlantic Ocean when the listeners start tuning in. So it's Sunday, and I you know, like when you look out of a porthole in a movie and it's really bad waves, like heavy water, thalassophobia, whatever they call it. Well, I have like, my eyes are like portholes, and I have like, they're like halfway filled with like sloshing gravy, because I've just been for a carvery, which in the UK is like a Thanksgiving roast dinner, you know, but we do them every Sunday. And I was given free access. Basically, it's a help yourself sort of thing. And I went a little bit overkill on the gravy. I think I had around 2 to 3 pints of gravy in one sitting. So yeah, right now I'm like, I think if you pushed me, I would wobble over to the floor, and then I would like Michael Jackson back up, purely because of perpetual motion of that liquid just sloshing around inside of me.
Oh yeah, weebles wobble, but they never fall down.
Exactly that, like the fat controller from Noddy.
For anyone outside of the UK as well, just to reassure people, 2 pints of gravy is below the legal limit, so Lloyd was okay to drive back.
Yeah, honestly, dude, I've been so bad at my diet this weekend. I was like, I'm going to be 175 when I get to Miami with Hav. When I checked this morning, I'm not 175.
You've got a few days left to run yourself ragged.
I'm going to do that. I think it's going to have to be done. But so last few days before I head off to the States, but we didn't want to not get the podcast done. So, what is the topic of agenda for today? Do you have anything in mind?
I do have one thing in mind, and it kind of stems from when I've got a bit of a slow start when I'm trying to be creative. If there's not a clear end goal and you're just like, I want to do something.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's kind of to get the gears turning. I'll come up with silly little systems, things that I will probably never use, but they're just fun. So when I was in the coffee shop earlier, I opened up my notes app and I dread to think how many there is. In the 40s of playing card queuing systems to use
Okay.
with a confederate.
Okay.
And so, some of them are pretty boring ideas. There's one where it was so you mention a name after you've peeked the card or glimpsed the card, you're trying to thought transfer it to your confederate. And you mention a name during the script. So you could say, I once met a guy in a pub. I think his name was Dave Carling. He'd not long got out of prison, and he told me this system to be able to transfer thoughts. And the way you cue the card is in the name. So the first name would be Dave, so D for diamond. And then the number of letters in the last name, Carling, is 7. So that'd be 7 of diamonds. And I thought, okay, that's kind of fun, but there's too much counting. It's a bit vague. There's no substance, and you can't really repeat it.
Yeah.
So whatever. So whilst I was trying to come up with just be creative, I came up with a non-verbal kind of like minimal movement thought transference system.
Wow.
And it was to do with literally, I was just looking. I saw a picture of Theodore Hanneman when I was reading something, and the whole kind of classic mentalism pose. It was to do with that. So what I was going to do very, very quickly is send you a screenshot of this thing and see if you can, whilst you can use it for reference and see if you can think what card I'm thinking of.
Okay. All right. I'll describe the screenshot out loud for those listening on all good streaming platforms. All right.
Of course you can.
Do you know, this is interesting to me, purely to open up my mind a little bit, because I don't do this. I've never dabbled with queuing systems.
Right.
Okay. So are you? So you've sent me the list of what I have to, of how it works. Is this like the code?
This is what you'd be looking for. What I would code to you.
So let me just have it. Shall I read it out loud to everyone else at home, or shall I just keep it to myself to see if I can figure it?
Which way do you think's funner?
Well, if people are watching this on YouTube, they can try and guess with me. Yeah. Okay. So hand on the left side of the face means red. Hand on the right side of the face means black. Left eyes open is a diamond.
So
left eye.
Hand on the left.
Hand on the left, eyes open, diamonds. Yeah. Hand on the left, eyes closed is a heart. So eyes open is diamond. So maybe you remember like a diamond eyes or something. And then closed eyes is a heart. And then eyes open for clubs. So maybe you keep your eyes open if there's a club coming towards you as a little mnemonic.
Yeah. So the way I was kind of remembering it was the more commonly named ones are eyes closed. So hearts and spades.
Oh, okay. I'm going to remember spades as eyes closed because you don't want to get dirt in your eyes when you're digging with a spade.
Nice.
Okay, so 1 finger touch to the head, ace. 2 fingers is 2. 3 is 4. 4 is 4. Fist is 5. 1 finger but not touching is 6. Oh, that's smart. And then the same for 2 is 7. 3 for 8. 4 for 9. Fist but not touching is 10. Any touch and opposite hand palm down is a jack. All right. Any touching an opposite hand on heart is a queen. And any touching and opposite hand palm up is a king. All right.
So it's just a bit of fun.
Okay, with it. And for my reference, which is because I don't know if your camera is mirrored or flipped. That's your left. Okay, so yeah, it's the correct orientation. All right, let's do it. Cut the deck at a random position, and so I can't see the cards, and I'll see if I can infer what that card may be.
Okay, let's go. This will be
2 of clubs.
oh, because it's not touching, so you add the 5.
Oh, 7 of clubs.
That's the one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
7 of clubs.
All right, do it again. That was really good, man.
Okay.
That was really easy.
Sorry, I still have to reference because I literally wrote this about half an hour ago.
No, it's super interesting. It's good. It feels fun to try out. Okay, 10 of hearts.
Yeah.
Did I get it?
Nice. Yeah.
Oh, oh, I love it. Okay, do one more, and I'll see if I can get you as well.
Okay. This would be
5 of diamonds.
yeah.
Did I get it?
Yeah.
Oh, baby, that was, man, I picked that up really quick.
Yeah, it's not too bad. This is quite a fun one. I mean, you do it once or like 2 or 3 times and someone will get onto it. But if you're at a convention, you're sitting down. Say if I was sitting with you somewhere and then I couldn't think of anything I wanted to show someone, and we could just do that very, very quickly.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna test you. See, or I'm / test myself. Okay. This is my right side here, just for reference.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, that would be 5 of clubs. Wait. No, 5 of spades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I get your system better than you?
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. All right, again. Okay. Oh shit. Okay. Oh, I have to read the system on this one. I'm
Yeah.
Okay. Flippity gibbet. Okay.
Okay, so that would be the King of Diamonds.
Oh, I think I got it wrong then. King of clubs. Like
Oh, right,
hand.
okay. Oh, right, okay. I was going off the yeah.
Okay, that was hard. One more. Here we go. All right, here we go. That's like a very similar card to the other 2. Okay.
Okay, so wait there.
Wait, I don't know what I'm doing actually.
It is the Queen of Clubs.
Oh no, it's diamonds. I don't know which way round the orientation of my
right,
left
okay.
hand.
So it's the hand that's on the head. I was doing as the initial like suit.
Okay. No
Apologies to
allowed.
audio listeners.
Yeah, okay. So for audio listeners, the next one I'm going to do is this. I'm going to have I've got my left hand balled up in a fist, touching my head or my temple. My eyes are closed, and I'm going to magically transmit it to Jake now.
It feels like a 5 of spades.
Left hand.
5 of hearts.
Oh yeah, dude, nailed it.
It's with the mirror. Oh yeah, I need to work on it.
It's tricky. So the usage of this then would be that like well, yeah, how would you what would be the
any kind of confederate queuing coding system I've came up with? It's always literally just been to use at a convention or a bar.
Yeah.
When someone has to see something, and what could you do? I mean, you could peek a card that someone has chosen or force a card, and then you say, instead of me reading your mind, let's try and do it one harder, and we'll bunny hop the signal from you to me to I don't know. Lloyd, can you come over here a sec?
I'm with you. That's cool. I mean, couldn't you? Would this also work? I don't know if it'd be as fool-in, but if you know how an invisible deck works.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody named the 2 of hearts,
Oh,
the confederate
yeah.
name's the jack of spades, isn't it? It's hearts and spades, clubs and diamonds, I think, right? So you just add up to 13, like you add to 13. So if the card, for example, is 6, then the opposing value is 7.
Mm.
And then so like in an invisible deck, if someone named 6 of spades, you would look for the 7 of hearts before you split the card. So if we were in a group of people, you say to somebody to like, you say, if you're the magician, Jake, and I'm sitting next to the person who's about to have the trick done to them, you could say like, cut the deck, you take a look at the card that you cut to, and I would glimpse it over their shoulder, and you would tell them, shuffle it in. And then you could say to everyone, like, right, look, if I was to ask you to name a card, you would name X. If I was asking you to name a card, you name X. Lloyd, if I was to ask you to name a card, you would name and I'd say, I don't know, 2 of diamonds, and we'd carry on. And now you know that the invisible deck card would be the jack of clubs.
Oh, that's a really easy one.
Would that
Yeah,
work?
that's
That
great.
would work, right?
Yeah.
Would it be fooling though?
I don't know. Maybe, I mean, because there's different. I've seen people who use invisible decks and they have the weirdest like system of which card on which side.
Yeah.
So
It's very
I
cool
guess,
though. I've never.
yeah. Christian Grace has a really, really cool coding system, which obviously I won't talk about here because it's on his membership, but it's non-verbal as well, and it's super, super easy.
Is it?
Yeah. It's just to do with like, I can't really give it away. It's just,
Don't tip it. Don't tip it. Don't tip it.
yeah, it's literally just something super simple.
There's something in Cognito called Cake Principle from Stephen Leithwaite.
Mm.
And well, it's adapted from Stephen Leithwaite. Stephen Leithwaite gave us permission to do it. I won't go into I'd love to talk about it. Do you know what I'm on about? Do you know the bit I'm on about?
I don't know which one you're on about now.
Well, I tell you what,
go on.
No, I tell you what, I won't explain any more, but I will tell you, because I don't think this spoils it if it happens, but to know this part, right? Just the performance of it. So I'm going to explain to you one performance, because he does it with a trick that uses like postcards or something different, right? But say I had a bunch of postcards here, right? Whatever one I decide upon would be like on the face, for example, and then it would say on the card, now take this and place it into your left pocket. So, okay, just by doing that, and these cards can be shuffled, and I now know what card it is.
Right.
I think people who know of Stephen Leithwaite's thing will know what I mean, but if you don't, it's very hard to infer more. It's very, very cool. But I can explain about the Cognito thing, I think, because it's super cool. Like it's on the star sign effect, and it's only brief, but it's a queuing system for the magician.
Right.
And what it is have you seen this?
I've only used Cognito for base level things so far. I
Man, let me
explain the tutorial yet.
Dude, let me explain this to you. This is a combination of like my thinking, Owen, who co-created with me, Michael Murray's input, and then Stephen Leithwaite's Cake Principle. It comes together to make like one of the most baffling piece of mind reading ever. And I'm pretty happy to be egotistical about that, because it's the other ideas of what make it work, specifically Michael Murray's and Stephen Leithwaite's, because what they added to what I had, what me and Owen had, is phenomenal. But basically, you have these images. Actually, I can show you on screen, right? This is not me trying to pitch Cognito, because Cognito's literally but for anyone that has Cognito and has overlooked it, it's this, right? So you have these screens and they've got horoscopes on them, like this, right? So you got one here and here. And all you do is you say, do you believe in horoscopes? Have you read the last few in the magazines? Here's what we're going to do. I want you to read a random horoscope to see if it applies to you or not, because normally a horoscope will apply to anyone, but people tend to not read others. They only read their own. So go onto my phone, open up the horoscopes. If you see yours on the screen, like go to a different page, because in case you think maybe I'm somehow tracking your eyes or can see what you're looking at. I just read a random horoscope out that's not yours. So don't look at yours, don't even think about yours, don't even read yours. As basically the fairest manner possible. So you do that. and maybe it's kind of hit or miss, yes or no, and they do it again, and there's only like a few pages of horoscopes, and they only have to read it one at a time, and then the last
Yeah.
page you just say, just so everyone else knows exactly what you're reading, read anyone out loud, but again, make sure it's not yours, and make sure yours is not even on the screen. Just like I want to be so, I want you to be so certain that like I just don't know what it is, and they read out any horoscope off the final page, but the first letter of the horoscope they read out loud. So it says like, surely the moon is pointing in your direction today. The
Yeah.
S tells you they're Sagittarius. You know what I mean? Or like if they're a Scorpio, it says like scalding hot winds are blowing over the moons of Venus. And you're like, see, it sounds complete gibberish. And maybe it appeals to you, maybe it doesn't. But from reading that, it could be about anything, anyone, and I couldn't know what you're saying. And what it is with Cognito, when they're not looking at theirs, it figures that out, and then every horoscope starts like, I'm a Virgo, so it's like very important things might be happening in the near future. No one, I think, as long as I live on this earth, nobody will ever figure out the method. That's not a magician, obviously. And even then, the amount of magicians that I stump at conventions like that haven't seen it, but it's a way that it's basically what the only reason I think it's interesting and relevant to this is it's like a crazy way to cue yourself. Like I don't even need a watch, I don't need anything. They don't ever read their stars and don't look at it, they don't say nothing about it. They read a random horoscope out, and them doing that tells me what they are.
Yeah, I
That's
love it. Unwitting stooges.
Yeah, confederate.
That's really, really cool. I think you might have shown me that before, but I just haven't had the time to go through the tutorials properly. But that's interesting because I'm going to use that for the thing I'm working on at the moment, where you have
Yeah.
to ascertain their star sign. This is if I don't want to go propless, I'll do that first.
Oh, mate, honestly, I can't begin to tell you. If you do it in a casual manner, say you're having a coffee and you're just like, do you believe in
Yeah.
horoscopes? Like, do you ever read them? And you're like, oh, I screenshot a couple off like whatever website you want to say, and say like, do you know what? Look, read one, but I'll say test. This is the trick to horoscopes. Don't read your own. Because sometimes you find someone's like, yeah, I actually really buy into it. So, well, do me a favor then. Let's just see how this works. I've just screenshotted some over the last few days. Go onto a page, make sure yours is not on that page, just in case I look over your shoulder, and read it out loud. Maybe I can guess what your horoscope is from a random one, and like I'll just joke about it, and then I'm like, or I say, read it to yourself. So they do that once or twice, and then the last time I say, read it out loud, make sure it's not yours. But what I'm trying to say is, if it's really conversational and it's not framed like a piece of magic,
Yeah,
and then you absolutely know their star sign. It's so good.
that's really, really good.
No
I am
peeking.
I'm a
Nothing.
fool for overlooking certain aspects of apps. I just use them for the base level stuff and then just don't go into what else I can do with it.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's not commercial. Like in Incognito, I say to it, like there's this amazing reveal that Owen came up with, which is the card reveal, which is
Yeah,
like staring them in the face at the end, which is literally so powerful. And it does get scream reactions. But I think the smartest, or like the most, like the bit which actually gets magicians going, oh, I love that. Like the magician brain food is the horoscope structure. But people are not really into doing horoscope stuff, so it often gets overlooked.
Yeah, no, I will no longer overlook it. But so these like coding systems like that, I always feel like that's one of my ways to get into a creative mood. Is just, it doesn't matter if you're ever going to use it, if it's an awful idea, just come up with a quick little system that gets your brain kind of in the mode to be like, I want to go solve some other problems. And so I was sitting in the coffee shop earlier. I was like, oh, this one's kind of cool. It's a like old school mentalism, queuing. And then I was thinking, I'd love to do something. I'd love to do one that was based around psychometry, where it was, your confederate was cueing you into what someone had placed in a bag. And then I was thinking, oh, you could do one based around charades. So if someone was like, write down, it doesn't matter what it is, write down, your favorite book, film, whatever. I've got no idea. I don't even know what, type of media it is that you're thinking of. So, and then when the Confederates queuing you, they could just do it like almost like charades. They could be like, so, when you are, and just like, there's a film, or, when there's a book. or
So for like, you're like, oh, I'm trying to think of, and then
Yeah.
that's like queuing for a heart.
Yeah.
I'm
But
wondering
something
how
like that could
bold
be
you could
fun.
be, how bold you
I
could
know.
be. Like if you had a simple thing for the suits, which was just that, one word would be relative to it, which you would pre-discuss. So like for heart, it would be like pulmonary. Like, oh, I'm gonna get a pulmonary embolism thinking about this. Let's cue them for heart. If it's like if it's diamonds, you would talk about like a ring. A club would be beer or drinking, alcohol related, because nightclubs.
Yeah.
And then a
Yeah.
spade would be anything to do with grass or mud or dirt, maybe. And then for the number, it could literally just be double the value.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if I was like, oh man, when I was okay, try and look up this card that I'm thinking of, okay? When I was 16, I used to go and play on the football fields, and me and my friends would kick a ball about. And as we were doing it, we would play this game mindlessly. We would just think of playing cards and see if the other one could name it. So I'm going to take a card out of this deck, Jake, and I want you to try and think of the card I'm thinking of at random. So what do you think it would be?
8 of spades.
Boom, 8 of spades. You know what I mean? So
Nice.
like,
Yeah,
in
that's
case
fun.
anyone thinks that me and Jake are setting this up, right? Hand me a card. So I've got a random one here, and then and I'll do this, and I'll say. So one of the other things that people used to do in the olden days is that, do you know? And this is a true fact, that little kids, and this is real, little kids, when they were teething and they couldn't sleep, their parents would give them alcohol. Did you know this? This is genuinely true. I'm not even doing this as part of the patter. They could have that. It would be tots of whiskey or whiskey. The reason it was because you wouldn't give a bottle of whiskey, but they would put a bit of whiskey onto like some cotton wool and dab their gums, and you could actually give a child alcohol. And there's no actual capacity limit, but you could give them alcohol up to the age of 4. So the reason I say this is that from a very young age, I would practice my card tricks to get my kid to fall asleep instead of giving him alcohol, because he finds them so boring.
Yeah.
So what card do you think I'm holding?
2 of clubs.
Boom.
Yeah. Nice. That's fun. That's fun.
If
That's
you could
really
like
good.
spitball and make up a little bullshit story on the fly for one reason why. Like, you try it with me and see if I can get it.
Yeah, I will try it with you, yes, but this is going to be tough. Right.
I just admit, do you know, it is actually true. Kids can have alcohol in the UK, but it's up to the age of 18 months. Do you know
Fair
that?
enough. Fair enough.
It's for teething, but not 4 years old. It's just an alcoholic baby.
It is strange because when I was younger, I had this like girlfriend in school, but it wasn't.
I love that you say that with like air quotes, as if you just stalked some chick.
Dude, it would. When you're too young to have a proper girlfriend, so it's just someone that you literally see on the playground. Yeah. I was like 10 or something, and I was obsessed with it. I'd talk about marrying her and buying her a ring and stuff, and it was really bad. But when we got a little bit older, I remember asking her to come around to mine, and I was like 12 or so, and did actually break into it. It doesn't matter. It's a stupid story.
At first, I really thought you were on. At first, I thought you were going somewhere. I didn't think you were setting the trick up. I thought you were going somewhere else. So, but I thought of either 6 of diamonds.
All right.
It was all right.
5.
Yeah, I put the 5 on the bottom because you said 12.
Yeah, because I'm a dope man.
Dude, you did that really well, because I thought you were telling the story and then you were going to start the trick, like start the Confederate thing. That was good. Do it again.
Good job picking up on it. Yeah, that's fun. Your system's way better than mine. I'm kind of pissed off.
Well, it only came from us freestyling.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay, one sec. Amazing. To be honest with you, I don't like talking about myself too much, and I think it's because when I was younger, I used to just talk about myself constantly. I think I've told you, haven't I? Like when I was when I was about 22, I used to work in the crazy house around here, and I think you've been there before.
Yeah.
And
I have been to the crazy house, the 3-floor
yeah,
place.
it's not there anymore, annoyingly, which is a bit of a piss take, but it is what it is. But I used to talk about myself constantly, and I used to be this horrible, obsessive, narcissistic. But yeah, but should we start the trick?
Yeah, okay, go then. Right. Yeah.
What am I think? What am I thinking of? What card have I got in my hand?
3, 2, 1. Jack of clubs.
Nice.
Yeah, right. It works, doesn't it?
It works. It works a lot better than mine, which I'm so annoyed about.
Let me try one more. All right. Do you ever used to do this thing? Have you ever had these real life psychic experiences? And I mean this in like almost comical term, but sometimes they're a little bit more spooky. Now it doesn't
Yeah.
happen so much these days because we have mobiles. But like especially when I was around 6, the house phone would ring and I would know exactly who was on the other line.
Right.
Did you ever used to have that? And it would be somebody completely random, but the phone would ring.
Yeah.
And I always remember it was the age of when I was 6, is because when we first got a house phone installed. Anyway,
Right.
that's one way it used to happen. I mean, nowadays it would happen like you listen to the radio, and you're thinking of a song and it would come on the radio as you get in the car. Do you know what I mean? Like these are like I call these like real life psychic experiences when you go to step into the road and you're going to get run over by a car. Anyway, what card am I going to think of just for the test of a psychic experience?
I don't think I got that one then.
When I was 6, the house phone would ring.
Oh, I completely missed that. Okay.
3 times, yeah. I know. I should have said jewelry, and I thought about it as I was saying it.
No.
Like I should have mentioned jewelry.
You were totally onto it. I was just trying to think, what's he on about? He's on about the house phone. He's on about being in a house, and then he said dying, and then I was like, man.
The thing is, you'd only have to practice this code a few times,
Yeah,
and then you'd have it down.
No, very, very true, very true. But I think because it's really, really simple to come up with something that it's not too hard.
Yeah.
And it gets you into that headspace of wanting to come up with a lot more complicated shit.
Yeah, I can see what you mean. I'm proper in the zone of just like, oh, what if we did this? What if you could do that? How could you do it as a single? I'm trying to think, how could you have the person cue you on a playing card without them knowing, and not in the other methods, not like the cake principle and. Like, for example, you could say, think of a playing card, and whatever value you think, I'm going to turn my back, whatever value you're thinking of, just see if it's there. Like, so if you're thinking of the number 7, deal down 7 cards, just have a look if it's at the 7. But I'm going to turn my back because I don't want to know what you're thinking. Okay, cool, do it. Like, you could do that and then fish for the suit.
Yeah.
But that's kind of on the nose, isn't it? And there's a lot of tricks like that where that actually is just a method. But the idea of having them do something based upon the value or the suit that they have that doesn't feel like it's giving it away.
And it's how to get them without like super obvious verbal instructions. It's hard.
Yeah, because a lot of it is good, but a lot of stuff like this feels like 20 questions.
Yeah.
And actually, the Darren Brown thing, he was on about about process tricks, like progressive anagrams, and he said that when he was younger, he was doing something, and he had somebody think of the first name, and he was like, I'm getting the first letter. There's an S in there, and it's a 5-letter word, right? And then the next second letter is a T, and he's like, I'm gonna try and get the 3rd letter of this man's name, and somebody was like, it's Steve. Can we move on?
Yeah.
He's like, there's a point where it just becomes like everyone can figure it out. And it's so true. And you gotta like try and find a way of them not being able to go, well, he did know that like there's only a few words, a few names with ST at the start that are male that are 5 letters long.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like if it was like, well, I did deal down 7 cards, he was probably just watching me deal down 7 cards. You know, so it'd have to be something that hides that.
You know, the kind of the holy grail to do it and get it easy for me would be like a full alphabet system that was actually easy. So it could be anything. It could be Steve, or it could be, you know, the Rock, or it could be Flower, based on a full alphabet system. And it's just how you could get it so you could process it fast enough.
Well, what if it was this, man? Do you know Mnemonica?
I only like up to a certain point because I haven't done it in years.
It's only because you just twigged me onto it when you said alphabet system. But
Mm.
say both of you learn Mnemonica,
Yeah.
which is a stack, but it's a numerical stack. It's a positional stack. So when you know the card, you also know its position. Well, if you knew Mnemonica and you were familiar with the alphabet and the positions of the letters, then you could cue the card based off someone's name. Pardon me, this is the gravy burping up out of me. For example, what is it? E is like the 5th letter, right? So the 5th card in Mnemonica is the 4 of hearts. So if somebody was thinking of the 4 of hearts, you could say, oh, okay, did you ever see that film called The Illusionist with Edward Norton? They would play, it was even a magician, right? And he did this thing where he would try to be able to read minds. Well, I think I can do it. And by me saying Edward Norton, you know it's the 5th card. But if the surname was a double, if the card was above 26, and that's why I said that's why alphabet triggered it. Sorry, there's 26 letters in the alphabet, there's 52 cards in the deck, which is double. So if this person's name was Edward Evans, then I would know it's the 2nd 5th card, so 31st card in the deck.
Yeah.
You know, which would be the King of Spades. Does that make sense?
Gotcha. It makes sense. It makes sense. I think it's because it's been so long since I've went anywhere near a stack. I'm just like,
oh man, I do love stack work so much.
I'm so lazy, Lloyd. I've got this bracelet that I bought ages ago, and it's got Mnemonica on the inside of the bracelet, so you turn it inside out when you want to use it. I'm just the laziest person.
Good. Oh, the thing is, it's it depending on when you use it. I normally start in Mnemonica and then come out of it, but I always wish for the reverse, because start with some visual things, but people tend to try to overcomplicate it when they think they want to learn Mnemonica for like complicated reasons, but I believe like some of the best uses, and I think a lot of people like this isn't my way of thinking at all, but like it's just to have it so that you can absolutely know one card for certain, use it in one context. It's good. It's great like for jazzing, where someone can name a card and you can cut to it and whatever. But my favorite thing to do is bring a deck out, farrow it into Mnemonica. So you're like, okay, let me just do the card and shuffle, do a false overhand shuffle, whatever it's going to be, and then just have them cut the cards either behind their back or under the table as many times as they want. Take one card, sit on it, put it in their pocket, and give you the rest of the deck. And the overall image from that in their memory is like, well, first of all, people don't really know what stacks are. Like this, like it. I remember Haley really loves Magic. Before we even like got together, she's got the Dynamo book that you just showed me. She's got Darren Brown DVDs, Darren Brown books for the public. Like she's a Magic fan and tried to do some bits and pieces. Like she's into Magic. And it wasn't until like a year or so into our relationship that I even like acknowledged stack work to her. And it was just a very alien concept. Like it was just not in the wheelhouse of the human mind to sort of averagely know that. So the average person, like even when I try to explain to like I know their position of every card in the deck, and like if you tell like that very hard to understand, and people listening are like, really? And I'm like, it just isn't in their like peripherals, you know. So people don't know about it, and they find it hard to understand even when you start to explain it. But couple that with shuffling the deck, like a false shuffle, and then having them cut and complete it. There's nothing on earth. You are going to get people, you know, for sure, 1 in every million that is going to sit there and figure it out. Okay, well, he false farrowed the deck. I've discovered that there's such a thing called a stack, you know, but whatever. But for the most part, that is a really shuffled deck, and you cannot know their card. It's as simple as that. There's no maybe like nope. It's he does not know my card. End of discussion. And I bet my life savings on it. Other than the fact that if you're alluding to being able to do magic, then they're going to say, well, he is going to do some magic. He probably knows it, but but just the ability to have that confidence for you, give the spectator the confidence that you really don't know what they have, really heightens the end effect, I find. You know?
Yeah.
Like if you do
a
sorry,
go
on.
I know you're no, go on.
No, I was just say if you do a really bad force, and then you read their mind later, normally that still works, but some people can be like, well, I think he made me pick the card. So it weakens the overall effects, you know what I mean? But if they truly believe you don't know the card, like 100% truly believe you don't know the card, then the ending is more impactful, which sounds foolish to say out loud.
Yeah.
But it's like the preamble sets you up for the finale. Like the more work you put in at the beginning, the greater the yield at the end, even though you could still be essentially doing the same trick.
Okay.
Hey, sorry, I've stopped rambling.
No, it's not rambling at all, dude. I was just something popped into my head. I don't know. I was trying to retain the information because my brain is like a sieve at the moment. But it'd be cool to do Mnemonica, but in reverse. So you're signaling the number and not the card. So if you had like a list of the top 50 films of all time, had someone choose a random movie, and then you're queuing, someone is queuing to you what number they're thinking of, if you've got it memorized. You know, like, can you hand me a card and I'll write on the back of it? And they hand you the Queen of Diamonds, which is whatever place, and you know, oh, that's number whatever, that's Escape from New York.
Dude, you could even be more bold than that. You could just say, you could just double the positional value. And you could say something along the lines of, what do you think the odds are of me finding that card in the deck? 1 in 52, 1 in, and you would say 75 or 74. You know what I mean? So I'm like, oh, 39. Is that 39? Yeah. So yeah, Ace of Diamonds.
Which is, I don't know, Shawshank Redemption on the
39. Oh yeah. No, but could you know, I don't know, 1 in 74 chance, is it? Because if they're shuffled, so they're more, it's, I don't know. You have to play stupid, and now magician can figure it out. So they don't feel that wrong. I'm an idiot with maths. It's very
if I had my lazy man's bracelet on, I'd be able to tell you.
Do you know what I need? Since you are the wordsmith master, I cannot remember all the star signs in order and the months and dates that they equate to. Do you know what I mean? I need a better mnemonic for it.
It's a tough one to. Yeah, I've got a card in my wallet. I've got a card in my wallet that I'll look at if I'm unsure.
That's a good way of doing it as well.
But I think be able to come up with something.
Yeah.
It's where there's overlap. It's really annoying. You know, when it's on like the 8th and that's actually the month before's star sign.
Yeah, the cusp. Are they all around like the 22nd and 21st, didn't they? Something like that? I
think so. Yeah.
Something like that. But yeah, man, now my head's going, oh, well, what if you do this? What if you do that? I'm trying to think. With the card one, because I keep going back to the card because it is, you know, it's the never-ending like riddles. But if it was something like take the deck, shuffle it until you're happy, think of a value of a playing card. I mean, you're going to actually do this now. But I
Oh,
want you to think of the value of a playing card, and like a 1, ace, 2, 3. Don't decide on the suit just yet, but really shuffle that deck. I'm going to turn around. I want you to deal down, face up, and stop when you see the first value of whatever one you want, and decide to yourself if you want that card or if you want to change it to the next suit. So stop when you get to it. I'm going to keep my back turned. They stop, right? And you're listening to
Yeah.
how many times they stop. And then when you pick the deck back up and you spread through it, you can, I don't know. No, that's really obvious. Can you see where I'm going? Like just grouping
Yeah.
all the values together in some way, or getting them to group the values together. What if it's well, I wonder what people would do if I said, Jake, go ahead and think of a value, right?
Yeah.
Take it, go through it, take them all out of the deck. I'm going to step into the next room. Okay. So you do that.
Yeah.
Then I say, out of those values, think of one. And then put them on top of the deck and shuffle them all back in. Right. So you do this. And then say, give them a riffle shuffle. And now there'll be 4 of a kind, possibly with a couple of cards between it, because the spectator will not riffle shuffle as well as a magician, as a rule, unless they're like a gambler.
Yeah.
But more than likely, you'd probably have a clump of 3 of a kind and an odd one, and then you just have to fish for the suit.
Hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. You know, part of me actually really likes stuff like that.
Yeah, there's something to it, isn't there?
There was one, I think, I got showed in Birmingham that I really liked. I can't remember whose effect it is, but that's to do with 4 of a kind and their position in the deck.
I know the one you mean. Yeah, yeah, that's kind of like that.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think, like, so I've got a 4 of a kind here. I'm gonna have, as a spectator, they're gonna shuffle them in overhand, or this a few times, and then they'll do like a bad riffle shuffle. So here. And now the spectator will swing it. I say, happy, shuffle, no, yep, perfect. And you're thinking of one of them. You literally visualized it when you took them out. Cool. So now if I go through, I'm going to see if, well, you can actually see at home. Is there, do you know what? I'll do this for real. I'll take out this one. No, I'll do this. Right. Okay. You can't see the cards I'm taking out, right?
No.
So I'm going to take out this 4 of a kind. I'm going to place them on top. You don't know what they are. I'm now going to overhand shuffle them. Just like this. I actually don't know where they are. And now I'm going to riffle shuffle the deck.
Right.
Cool. And now I'm going to spread the deck towards the camera. Just see if you think you can spot what value it could have been.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think it was?
5?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're all really close. I didn't try to do that on purpose. I genuinely shuffled that pretty decently, I felt.
Yeah.
I did. But I expect it. If you're like, who here can riffle shuffle? You? Good. Can you overhand shuffle too? Good. Take 4 of kind out, look at them around, place them on top of the deck, and now just shuffle them properly back in. So give them a proper overhand shuffle, give them a good riffle shuffle so you know they're lost. This. See if this is any better. I wasn't trying to keep anything clumped there.
Yeah.
Oh, we did. There's one of the 5s is there. But yeah,
Yeah.
they're all clumped together. And I'm actually trying to shuffle. Like I'm not trying to not shuffle these. Look, if I try and riffle shuffle from here, they'll be really close to the top. But if you cut like 13 to the bottom, now when they riffle shuffle, they'll be in this half here, right? So now that should give me like a pretty decent riffle shuffle, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So now if we spread through, they should be better shuffle. Like we know what to look for this time, obviously, but there should be a clump of cards that all. See, all the 5s are within.
Yeah, it's just hard. It's just hard. It's just hard to tell whether that could be misconstrued as like by yourself as actually, because it's every chance that could happen naturally whilst you're shuffling.
Okay, I'll do it that way again, right? But this time you've got to try and So I'll go for these cards because you're not going to know what it is, and I'm going to cut. Don't forget that time as well. I specifically riffle shuffled them like very, very, very well.
Hmm.
A layperson is not going to do that, but they are going to feel like they shuffled them properly.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take these, place them here. I'm going to cut about 13 cards above them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to give them a pretty damn decent riffle shuffle. Okay, so now you're looking for basically, I think it's going to be like 8 cards range, and all 4 of one value will be in that 8 cards range. Okay, here we go, Jake.
Here we go. Again, apologies to audio listeners.
Audio listeners, what I'm doing, I'm holding the cards up towards the camera, and I'm just slowly spreading through them one by one.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, you good?
Yeah, I think so.
Which
The Kings?
It was the Kings.
Sweet.
Yeah, and anyone watching this on YouTube, I did not do anything sneaky. That was legit.
Yeah, you cued me.
Can you try it on me?
Yes.
Without that, I can't tell that deck. You have a different deck to that because I was literally like it's drawn by the Looney Tunes.
Yeah, I love this deck. It's all
I know, but
magician.
I know, but I can't tell who's on it. I can't tell what the suits are.
Yeah, no worries.
I'm just taking a punt. And I said punt, P-U-N-T, not
full deck.
It doesn't matter if it's a full deck as long as you can take out 4 of a kind, I suppose.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I mean,
What happened?
Sorry, I keep getting feedback on the mic because my headphones were close to it.
Oh, cool. I didn't affect it on my end. If that matters at all.
I need to actually sort this out. My setup.
I think I hear that then. Beep, boop.
Yeah, I need to sort it out so that the audio is a little bit better quality. Sorry. Right. I was putting about 13 on the top, and then riffle shuffle.
Yeah, because I just struggle to imagine that a layman's going to shuffle it better than we are.
Yeah, I can't shuffle. You ready?
Mm-hmm. Oh, 9s.
Yeah.
9s? Was it 9s?
Yeah.
Dude. I was worried at first. I was like, oh, wow, there's a lot of cards here. But I was like, well, I haven't seen... I thought it was the 6s. If you go through, I thought it was the 6s. But it wasn't 4 of them.
It's hard because you not knowing what you're looking for. Obviously, it's that's fun though. That's fun.
It is kind of interesting, right?
It's really good.
So if you were to like perform it, it'd be like, okay, Jake, I want to do the fairest card trick of all, and I want to give you as much of a fair choice as you can even imagine. So I'm going to step out the room. I can even call you to instruct you, but I must not have any ability to see what you're doing. But like I would have you pick a card by like this, but maybe I can make you pick what you want. I could have you see a card, but maybe I can make one stand out longer. So what I want you to do is take the deck and take out any 4 of a kind you want. And from that 4 of a kind, take a look at them and think of in your own time which one you want specifically. But don't even do anything with it. When you're done, put them on top of the deck, shuffle them in and give them a riffle shuffle so they're lost. That's all you need to do. And then I'd ask you, like as a spectator, could I be any more fit? I think they would be like, no, you really couldn't. When you're happy, call me, tell me, I'll come back in. Boom.
Yeah.
Come back in. Now what I could do is say, I'm going to go through and I think I know the card. You think I'm going to take it out of the deck. And what I could probably do from that point is go through, take out, find the clump of 4, put 1 down on the table, cut 2 to the top and 1 to the bottom.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to change my mind on this. You weren't thinking of a black card, are you? A suit? And I say, all right, I think I know what suit you've gone for, but I'm going to change my mind. I think you've gone for a completely different value. And at that point, I can just go back in and change it for it. Kind of like there's a trick, I think it's called AK-47 by John Bannon. It kind of has a similar feel to the aesthetic as that in a way.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like it. It's similar to the end of Landslide, is it?
Oh yeah, yeah, I know what you mean. Yes, yeah, yeah. I'm gonna try it out.
Yeah, same. It's
Is there a
actually,
way? Go on.
yeah. No, it's just surprisingly quite a fun little effect.
Yeah. Well, it all came from this whole conversation of queuing. You said like write a queue system, create a queue system, and I was thinking, oh yeah, I can get onto this, and then
Yeah, the most boring episode ever.
is there a way to do it where I think this is the best episode ever, where they don't realize they're putting them on top of the deck? You know, they don't realize they are putting them in a position which gives you an advantageous
So,
position.
so if you were on the phone with them from another room, you can, besides just the vanilla, just cut them into the middle of the deck. What could you do?
What if they could do this? This is a completely different method. But what if you have them? So say, right, I'm going to have you unknowingly. I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to do. Can you think of a value of a playing card?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll figure out the suit stuff later. I'm just going to fish for it or something like that.
Yeah.
And what I want you to do is this. Deal through the cards face up on the table. Make sure I can't see them because I would be on the phone.
Yeah.
And just name the values as you go along. I'll count out loud 1, 2 for every card that you do, but I don't want to see them.
Right.
So this would be blind for me. But when I get to the value that you're thinking of, so say you were thinking of the number, say you're thinking of a 6 spades, when you get to the 6th position, whatever card is in front of you, lie about it.
Right.
So say it's a different card.
Okay. You want me to do that?
So get ready to deal. Think of a playing card right now.
Yeah.
Okay, deal and call them out. So one. What is it? No, you got to name the card out loud.
Queen of clubs.
2.
4 of diamonds.
3.
6 of hearts.
4.
3 of hearts.
5.
4 of clubs.
6.
6 of diamonds.
7.
10 of diamonds.
Okay. Were you thinking of? Did you lie about the 6 of hearts?
Yes.
Did you?
Yeah.
So I now know that your value was like was it in the 3rd or 4th position?
Yeah, it was the 3rd.
So now if you could do all of that, right? So if you were like, if I explain, it's very hard to explain, so I understand this. But if I was like, look, you're gonna do what I'm doing, Jake. I'm gonna think of a card. I'm thinking of a card right now, and then you're gonna do this out loud. So I'm gonna go 1, 10 of diamonds, 2, the 9 of clubs, 3, the 8 of spades. When I get to the 4th card, because I'm thinking of a 4,
yeah,
you're gonna go 4, the 9 of spades. No, the 5th card actually wasn't 9 of spades. 5, and then continue on. So basically, I'm thinking there's just so much going on that they have to go when they get to the
yeah.
Maybe it's a bit too on the nose.
No, but the thing is, even if that is on the nose, if you retain that information, the time misdirection, a couple of minutes, it's going to seem like it didn't matter.
Yeah.
If you're just remembering the 5th, they stuttered in the 5th position, some other things happen. They're not going to remember that they stuttered in the 5th position because you're not revealing it straight away, so you're not showing your hand.
Yeah. The seed that I had was like, I would say to you, think of a playing card, Jake, right? Then cut off a bunch of cards and shuffle them up and read them out to me. If any card has the same value as yours, just lie about it when you get to it. So I'm going to think of one now. Okay, so I'm going to read out 10, 3, 4, 2, jack, 3, 10, 6, king, 5, 5. My value wasn't there. So I'll go king, 2, king, king, 2, 8, 8, 8, 4. So yeah, there was 2 9s and an 8, and I thought of an 8 when I seen the first 9. I was like, oh, 8,
Yeah.
8. And then there's got to be something that tricks our minds that will give us more info there than we realize.
There's definitely a natural like stumbling point, like a tiny roadblock that's almost, I don't want to say like it's imperceptible to them, but I feel like if you don't show your hand straight away, it is.
Yeah. Could even be like, if you know that they're thinking of an even card. Well, there's a way to make someone think of an even number, which is always to double their value, right? You say, like, think of a value playing card, but I want you to double it, but don't go too high so that it's going to go over a king, which is 13. Got it? Cool. And now I could put loads of odd cards in groups, right? And put then a 2, a 4, so a 2 in this group, but the rest are odd. A 4 in this group, but the rest are odd. A 8 in this, a 6 in this group, an 8 in this group, and then a 10 and a queen. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 groups of cards. And then I could just say, like, I'm going to go through these. Don't say anything, but like, at least say if I'm close to your card within one of these. They say yes to one, it would immediately cue me their value. It's a lot of overkill, though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
it.
Well, that's always. To be honest with you, that's kind of why I like this stuff to get into the creative mood, because you might never be using them, but it's just linking things and coming up with a system. They're all overkill because marked deck exists. Like,
very true.
It's all just, it's part of the process, isn't it? It's just fun, and then every now and again you stumble across something that actually could work.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I know. I remember years ago I put up a card control on Magic Cafe, and it was the Premier control, and somebody with a pretty, I thought at the time, like, big important name, basically just like sent me this really patronizing, really condescending private message saying, why was I bothering to invent new card controls or try to come up with new material? Everything we'd ever need to perform good card magic had been created. We just had to improve our routines and our performances. And I was like, oh my God, that might be the most narrow-minded mindset. And it reminded me of that quote, everything that it was like 100 years ago, and someone said, everything that we need can and has already been invented. You remember that quote? So I just copy and pasted that, because the guy literally sent me, it was like a 5 to 10 minute read. It was really, really long, and the whole thing was really mean-spirited. Everything that has been invented. I'm trying to find the quote now. Here we are. Charles Duell. Everything that can be invented has been invented. Charles H. Duell. And he'd said it in 1889, before like the advent of like some really incredible things. But yeah, I just sent that back to the guy. I was like, well, and now look where we are.
I've just had a very dumb idea.
No such thing.
Also, no, I love that. I love replying to someone with a quote.
Yeah.
Art of War.
Yeah. Well, I thought this guy has already made his opinion up. That hence the narrow-minded one. I can't. You can't argue with something like that. It's like arguing with a pigeon and expecting it not to shit on you and itself. So I was just like, enjoy your life.
So well, you could do like it is dumb, but you could do like a real invisible deck. If I was sitting behind you at a convention and you cue the card to me that you've peaked, or the whatever the effect is, and then I just take my deck, turn that backwards, put it back in, and just put it into your coat pocket behind me.
Yeah. What if you had like a deck of double faces? And I'm just like, so to you, or
Yeah,
you hold this up, and on the for everyone listening on stream, says this is a 4 of spades, but on the back will probably be like a 7 of hearts or something.
yeah, yeah.
You know, I can just flat out see.
What
This
I
is
was
really
thinking
good.
was because you could be, you know, you're talking to two people, and then there's an effect where a card is chosen, they've got to remember it, whatever, but you know what it is. So you do your story about when you were 22 and you went to a nightclub or whatever. And then behind you, I'm just taking the card that's been queued, putting it in and putting it in your coat pocket. So you could say to these people, like, you've been watching my hands the whole time. I have an invisible deck, but it's not an actual invisible deck. It's just playing cards, and pass it to them and they can take it out and do it.
I remember once in San Francisco, I was with a bunch of people, and Danny Madison was there, and he was performing to people, like real people, not like fake people, like robots.
Okay.
No, but like lay people, not magicians. And he had them name a card. He got a card out of his advocate, and then he like cued me to take it, and I took it, and there was a glass fireplace, and I put the
Yeah.
fire burning in the glass. And he's like, "There's no way I can know what this is. Look over there." And the card was just burning in flames.
Ah, dude. We were, I can't remember the guy's actual name, but last night, was it on the Discord, QB asked
Yeah.
about tricks at a pool party, and that just got me so excited. All the stuff that people were naming, and it's just that was my 20s, was torn corners and healed and
Bent
sealed, sealed,
coins,
healed.
simple.
And that having a confederate to go and put a card at the other side of a window, it was just so many nights out doing that.
Do you know one thing that I did, and it brought back a memory? I must have been about 16, drinking at a house party, and I just learned chaos by the guy's name's Sean Beard, but it was taught by Danny Garcia, and I was itching to perform it. I wanted to do it so bad, and because we were all drunk, I wasn't that drunk for once. I had someone pick out a card. What was the way I did? Oh, I've had something like I preloaded it. That was by chance. I preloaded a 2 of clubs behind the wall. It was dark and it was in the garden. So I said, take out a card. I forced them the 2 of spades. I was like, this is one you want. I didn't give them a really good look. I was like, look, the 2 of the 2 of clubs, and I was just doing this. And no one, like, we were 16. And look, I imagine if I watched it back, I would actually cripple myself with shame. But I just used that as an instant dupe, and then put it in. I was like, the window. Everybody freaked out. Like, people went crazy. It wasn't even the same card. It wasn't a duplicate. It was just a similar looking card. And they freaked out. And it makes me realize, like, anytime I have anxiety over, oh, they're gonna catch the method on whatever trick, I think, oh, I realized, like, yeah, people didn't even realize it was a different card.
Dude, I do that with 2 card Monty, with Queen of Clubs and Queen of Spades.
Yeah.
If I don't have a dupe on me, I just say, and I'll take the Queen of Clubs. Swap
Yeah.
places.
Yeah. Also, I don't know why I mentioned chaos card through window, because it wasn't chaos card through window that I did. I did used to do that a lot though. Such a good trick at the time. Still a good trick.
I'd love a new card through window, but it's just there's only so many methods.
Yeah, I'd love to. There's so many methods. What I try to look for is thinking about if you could actually do it. Apart from, like, one thing that always sticks in my head is that if you were to really do it, when you spring the cards at the window, why would it be stuck facing the wrong way on the inside?
Yeah.
There's a guy called Eric James who doesn't seem to be around anymore, but he had a card through window project out like 20 years ago. And there's this amazing one where he springs the cards at the window and their card just flutters down slowly from the other side. Like, that's one way it should look. The other one is that sort of chaos view where it sort of pull it through from that cards they're holding up, which is quite good. But the reality is, like, well, and maybe that is the way it would be done. But is there a way you would think organically? Like, if you said to a layman, here's a card or here's a deck of cards, put it through the window, and they suddenly develop magic powers, how would they even think it's supposed to look? Like, is it supposed to look like it's stuck to the glass, or is it supposed to go through slowly? Does the whole deck go through the window and one card's left on this side? Do you know what I mean? Like, what would actually happen?
The whole deck going through the window is pretty cool.
Except for the one you're holding.
Yeah. Yeah, you could quite easily accomplish that with some kind of diminishing deck gimmick, can you?
Oh, but yeah, it's getting the one to appear on this. I mean, you could. There's always a way.
Well, it's the whole deck appearing on the other side, which, yeah, there is the, I don't know, card through window or any kind of glasses. Just I absolutely adore it. But then it's also a trick where it's the micro scale level of the macro. So it's a person walking through a pane of glass, and there's only like one way you can do that, pretty much. So I always think when there's a small, like, shortened down version of something, it suffers from someone having seen a bigger illusion where there's only one way they can do it.
Yeah, very, very true. Although there's something grand about the card through window.
Yeah, no, agree totally.
There is
Especially when
something
it
grand.
appears just completely impromptu.
But I'm going to think about this all day now. All day after this. What would be the way that I like? Would they, for example, like say there was a duplicate card just on the floor on the other side of the window? Well, if you were to spring the cards and tell them before, obviously they're not looking on the floor, hopefully, but you spring the card out the window, there's a crazy mess, and then you're like, oh, there it is, it's fluttering down to the floor. And by the time their eyes can see it, it looks like it's just hit the floor.
Hmm.
So the only setup is to just throw a duplicate on the floor.
Yeah.
And you could just be like, you don't even have to say anything. You can spring the cards out the window and be like, oh, I think, did it go through? Can you guys see it anywhere? And just let them go, oh, there it is, there it is. Would that play? I wonder if you test like the psychology of magic. If you test that on a group of 100 people who've seen it that way, and a group of 100 people that find it stuck to the window versus the group of 100 people that have a mechanical setup where it genuinely flutters down and they see it, would there be a difference?
Hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Would they perceive it as the same effect? Would they perceive one as more impossible than the other? You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. Sorry, I looked like I was frozen, and I must just look like an NPC. I I don't know. I don't know. I can't tell.
Because yeah, I mean, some of the stuff in the psychology of magic is mind blowing when you read it, and it makes you like I think we spoke about it brief about the bewave being as impactful as an invisible
Yeah.
deck and a 1 in 1,000 chance effect,
Yeah.
and it's just
Yeah.
1 in 4. And I wonder, like, do we like it absolutely says in there about thinking people who think of a card found it less fair than to have a card chosen from a fan of cards like this. Like, this is the most
Yeah.
fair. Even if the cards are face up, they still don't think that's fair because people are so dubious of magicians. They believe that you implanted the thought into their head or that you made them pick it. But when it's face down, they feel like they had a free choice. I never would have ever come to that conclusion without science-based research. And when you sort of take that into consideration with classic effects, does it really matter that the card appears stuck to the glass? Does it matter that it flutters down? As long as they join the dots themselves, is that as equally as important?
Yeah. That's the one disservice that Darren Brown did to the industry, because people go, yeah, but people can do that. No, they can't.
Yeah, that's a debate for another day, isn't it? Like what damage did Darren Brown do to magic? Because it's true, he does it. He's so like the stuff that he does that I'm not even sure if it's real or not. Like, is that a magic trick or is he just really? I'm so unsure half the time. And if magicians think it, then lay people fully down the river, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
or the rabbit hole, then does that make it? You know, like when people say, like, you know, the two perfect theory.
Mm.
You know, it's almost like, well, he made me think of it, and I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, oh well, I didn't. I spent like 10 years of my life making sure you could think of any card so I could get it from an index. Well, you made me so. But it's true. I spent so many years thinking of like how to make the card appear. Like, there's so many ways to make a card appear on the glass, right? Using like electronics or hookups or threads or poles or magnets, timing, so many ways. And it's always been about the exploration of finding the most practical way that I'm actually going to do every time I perform. But
Yeah.
with new era thinking or new revelations in the world of modern science and magic, how much of that is wasted? You know?
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's kind of sad, and that's part of the reason I've been held back on reading through some of some of that stuff. I don't want to have like, my brain shattered by realizing that some of the things I've shown people that they're secretly not impressed with,
I also think it's empowering though.
not as impressed.
Yeah, that's true. But I
Yeah,
do think
that's
it's
true.
empowering, like in terms of the methods, like, well, you know what? If I've got a trick, it's like everything's great about it, in my own opinion, but I can't have them freely think of a card. Well, now I can just drop that and be like, do you know what? They care less about that than if I had them pick it. And if they're going to pick it, I may
Yeah.
as well force it. And if I force it, I can actually do a bit more with it. And a lot of it is just like the magicians knowing what we know too much, sort of thing.
Yeah. We ruin it for ourselves sometimes.
Yeah, we really do. Well, how many magicians do you know that will actively not perform good pieces of magic because they think the audience knows how it works,
Yeah.
or would potentially know how it works? I mean, look at the Magic Cafe. There's so many armchair magicians there that complain about incredible pieces of magic. The thing is, not even incredible pieces of magic. Some pieces of magic are just okay, but they think that the spectator is going to know how it works, so they won't do it, and they're missing out on some good stuff. But it's better for the people who actually do magic because they get to keep that stuff to themselves.
That's true. That's true. But like you say, that's probably a conversation for another day, because we could go for quite a while on that topic.
We really, really could. But man, I'm going back to the card through window. Do you know what? Like, after I first seen the card through window done by David Blaine in the Peugeot advert, and I think that was
Yeah.
aired in 2004 or 6. I was in the cinema. We spoke about it before. And in that advert and the subsequent performance that he did in his first TV special, where it was behind the cafe window, I never cared about the card appearing. To me, I always seen it appear, but I never did. It was always preloaded. I assume.
Yeah.
Sorry, but I was upset. It's been 20 years. And if I did, then anyone else would. So is the best method just to stick it on the window and have them face away from it?
It's up there as one of the best methods. It's pretty strange, because when I first saw that, I absolutely loved it. But then I think pretty quickly realized what had happened, purely because I was into filmmaking when I was, well, I still am, but when I was younger, I used to want to make films and stuff. So I'd shot some like stupid horror things with mates when I was like 11 or 12. And we did like the pan to, like I can't remember if it was an axe or a dagger that looked like it had been thrown, and then it was in someone's head. But obviously it had been there the whole time. And so for me, I kind of just connected those two the first time I ever saw that, and I was just like, oh, so it was just there. It's just the dagger in someone's head.
I had no idea, like absolutely no idea. And the thing was, I think I only tried to look for a more believable method or a more clinical method once I found out how it was done. So
Yeah.
that means I had no idea how it was done anyway. And then when I learned, I tried to better it. So the one thing I will say, and I'm not saying this for anyone to go, oh, no, you actually have to go. I do, and I honestly believe I am actually like of a slightly lower intelligence than the average person. So I do find a lot more magic tends to fool me than the normal person. So I don't fully trust my own instincts 100%. But yeah, I'm trying to find it. David Blaine, Peugeot, P-E-U. Is that how you spell Peugeot?
Yeah,
Advert.
P-E-U-G. Yeah.
1999 that came out.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. That was 24 years ago.
Long time.
I was 10. I watched that when I was 10. Wait, so there's a TV
I
show in the
watched it
UK
when I
called Are
was
You Smarter Than a
8, I
10-Year-Old?
think. 8 or 9.
You know how you done filmmaking at 8 or 9, and you seen how it was
No,
done?
no. When I saw it on the TV special.
Oh yeah. I wonder what year that. What was the first special? Look, here's the clip.
It might not have even been when it first aired. It might have been like a rerun.
Dude, oh, it's such a good piece of magic. Yeah, I mean, like 10-year-old me was a bit more stupid than maybe a teenage me.
Mm,
But
mm.
look, I'm gonna
But
share the screen. I'm gonna share the screen so you can
10-year
see.
old me was just watching Paul Daniels VHS tapes all day.
All day. Can you see my screen?
I can, yes.
All right, so this is David Blaine's commercial. I don't know if you can hear it or not. Can you hear it?
No.
What? Yo, that's like they were freaking out.
Yeah.
They were freaking out. Although you don't see much of the clip, it's very, very short. But that's a group of adults.
Yeah.
How
It's
much do
also
we
just
overthink?
very, very good production crews, framing and setting people up. Make sure everyone's facing this way.
See, I wouldn't care about the framing of it. Like I'd be confident with that element.
Hmm.
Wherever I go, sticking a card to a window and then constantly being myself facing towards the window. That's
Yeah.
really all you have to do. Because if you're talking to someone and you plant your feet there, then they're going to come to you. You know,
I
you're
think
going to
it's when
face away
people
from them.
compensate that it starts going wrong.
Yeah.
When people are like, keep your eyes on me.
Thing is, all you have to do is just be interesting. So if you start doing this with the cards, like I'm doing terrible flourishing, but well, not even being interested in doing flourishing, just like be interested doing card magic. Then you know
Yeah.
they're not going to turn. They're not going to suddenly go, "Oh, what's behind me?"
Hmm.
Do you know?
I've got to, it's not often that I have to do. Go on.
No, go on.
I think our audio might be a little bit desynced because of internet issues or something. But what I was going to say was it's not often that I have to employ too much sleight of hand, but even just a billet switch or anything at all that's just at the side. The moment I start being a little bit vulnerable with someone is when people like will immediately have all eyes on me.
Oh, that's
You know, if I'm
interesting.
talking through a story and I'm talking about, oh, and this girl at the party, she said to me, blah blah blah, whatever. If I'm just telling some story where I'm a little bit vulnerable, people just staring at me.
Use it, man. Use it. The thing that I was going to say was I wouldn't even be too confident that they would glance at it and
Hmm.
not notice it. And I was
Yeah,
thinking of this morning because when you do card to mouth,
yeah,
people will, and I think there's I watched one not even long ago. The amount of people that will look up at you, look at the card, and then look back to the deck, expecting it to come to the top, and they do not register that it's in your mouth.
yeah,
Like this is a fact of magic. It takes so many people so long to even register it in your mouth that well, I mean, go and search card to mouth live performance on YouTube. I guarantee, like you'll notice that it takes a few seconds, or like not everyone clocks on. I'm saying that in the terms of, you walk down the street, you look at signage, you look at cars, you look at things, bits and pieces. You've probably looked at a card like hanging up somewhere or stuck to a window, just like not a magician style thing, and just completely not clocked it,
yeah.
because you're just not thinking in that context. And I think that's something that plays into it as well. Like you're just not taking it all in. So I would even be confident that someone could even like glance and not fully read. Some people obviously are gunning. Not everyone is distracted, but I wouldn't be too worried.
No, no. I think you're right. Like you say, if they're just not looking for it.
Also, if they don't know it's there, so you do the trick, cards selected, you throw the cards or spring the cards at the window over their shoulder, it hits the cards there. it's like, I would say the majority of the people are going to think that it appeared there, like via the trick that you did, or oh my God, he just knew it. It was, a lot of people will make up a false memory that it what they looked beforehand and it was clear. That will happen. If you've got a group of people, what all it takes is one person to say it and the rest will then say, yep, I checked first. And the people that think that it was stuck there beforehand, it doesn't matter. You can just, the best tool that we have as a magician is the ability to lie or just say no. Did you stick it there beforehand? No. I promise you I didn't. Oh, damn. Well, how then? I'm not afraid to say, I promise you I didn't with magic, because that is literally what we're doing. We're deceiving the audience. We are telling a lie with our own hands, our actions, the things we say anyway. So I'm very thingy about I don't make a promise I can't keep. You only have one thing in life when you have nothing is your word. But when it comes to magic, I'm okay with it, because you're enhancing the experience for the audience. So if somebody says, well, you know,
there's an implicit understanding that when you're watching someone do a trick, they're not going to be completely honest with you.
Yeah, it's like the comedians who's the comedian that says, it's a Florida comedian actually. It's like, swear to God, even if he's religious, everyone has that mutual understanding that it's part of his performance.
Yeah.
But yeah, if someone goes, did you stick that there? I think he stuck it there before we began. Did you do that? No. Really? No, I swear. Oh, well, if he's, wow.
And there's no bad blood for someone being like, well, obviously he's not going to give away his method.
Yeah. I think David William do this thing, this penguin lecture. There's a card on the table, and then a card gets selected. So let's say we go for 6 of diamonds. It gets left in the center. Do you want to change that card for a different one? Honestly, now,
No.
or do you think, because you think that may have been a 4th, but look, no doubles. Genuinely, that is the 6 of diamonds. How crazy is that? And all he does is say no doubles.
Cool.
He says no doubles, but he does a double.
Yeah.
He said, look, boom, 6 diamonds. I swear, look, no doubles, nothing. It's part of our job to deceive.
I trusted you, Lloyd.
Did you believe that I didn't use a double the first time?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's part of what we do, and I learned that from David Williamson doing it. And it's so if someone so most people will believe you did the trick. A lot of people will react to it. It's so shocking. Some people will convince themselves that it was cleaner than it was. Like the whole theory of confusion of methods and stipulations.
Yeah.
Because even you can insinuate, you could say, like we've been out here the whole day. Like, how many of you stayed through that glass earlier, right? And they'll go, yeah. Well, maybe they did earlier, but you'd stuck it 2 minutes before. So they remember that it was an empty window, and they confirm it. Did I stick it there while I was performing and before I performed? No. Yeah. Everyone's like, yeah, no, you didn't do that. Boom. That's your method. And then the people, but even if someone goes, I think he stuck it there beforehand. No, I didn't. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Fuck off is my method.
That's all there is to it.
I'm going to test it out. Me and Hav are going to potentially do this routine, see if we can in Miami next week with decks. I'm looking at decks right there. And it's also, you hand someone the deck. You say, shuffle the deck up. I'm going to stand behind this window and name any card. They name it. Say, spring the deck at the window, and then they spring it, and you're going to go and catch like this, and it's the card they named. It's a named card through glass, and the deck is in their hands. But hopefully we can get a performance of it. But yeah, I mean, and the way to protect it is to put like double stick tape on the back card and say, go through, take out the card, cut it into the center, and then spring the cards at the window if they want to. If you want to do it, if you don't want to see it. But
I don't think anyone's going to go looking through the cards on the ground.
That's a little exclusive effect there. Shouldn't have probably said that, but If you made it this far, type in the comment section, Florida card through window or Dex through window. Dex through window. Hashtag Dex through window in the comments below.
Yeah.
Before we wrap up, are you having fun on Threads, Jake?
I'm having so much fun.
I am
So
living
much
for
fun. It's almost sad how much fun I'm having on there.
I am just posting like a wild man. I'm not holding back. I'm saying swear words.
It's unhinged.
Because when you have these new social media apps, you only get a few months before they're monetized and they're restricted. So I'm getting all the PC stuff out of my gob now before the fun ends. But what's your Threads handle?
Same as Instagram, it's, I think. Yeah.
At
Synchromistic Magic.
I think you should change that username because it's so hard to spell.
No, go fuck yourself. I mean, you're completely right, but I'll do it once I've run out of business cards that have that written on.
Oh yeah, it's a great shout. If you want to come and find us on Threads, you've got at Synchromistic Magic and at Lloyd Barnes. And yeah, dudes, this has been a blast of an episode, man.
Yeah, this has been great. Also, go check these out because these are awesome.
Look how sick it looks. Custom.
For anyone
Hand of
who's only
Glory.
listening, I was showing off my t-shirt.
He actually pulled his trousers and pants down and showed off his Hand of Glory.
Yep.
No, dude, it looks so good. Custom black art Hand of Glory t-shirts available at thebblackartco.com. Go check it out. Click on the merch button or linked in the video below if you're listening on YouTube, watching on YouTube right now. Yeah, dude. Sorry, I'm just thinking. I'm so glad that we talked about something with a visual nature like card through window because now I know what thumbnail to make for this episode.
Oh, that's a good shout. That's a very good shout. And can you promise me one thing as well?
Yes.
Next time we're
I
at a
can't
convention.
until you tell me first what it is.
Next time we're at a convention together, can we try some of this code and stuff?
Abso-freaking-lutely. The only problem is that, like, what if people have listened to the show? We don't.
No one listens to this.
That's true. That's true. All right, man. Well, we've run over time as always. I think we're at like an hour and a half episode, is it? An hour and a half, maybe.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I was hoping it'd be 45 minutes.
That'll do it. That'll do it.
That'll do. Remember, if you got this far, hashtag Dex through window in the comment sections down below. Till next week, folks. Jake, we need to figure out recording for next week. I'll probably have to record it in Florida with you. Unless we record it on like Tuesday before I go, which is not going to happen.
We'll figure something out, don't worry.
We'll figure something out. We'll have to be a short and sweet one. But yeah, till next week, guys. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I've been Lloyd.
I've been Jake.
See you all in the next episode. I should say it like Dr. Dre. Oh, look at that little title. Oh, I love it, Jake. Oh, hell yeah.
Peace.